One of the most legendary coins in American history, the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny. And by the time you finish this video, you'll see exactly why this tiny copper coin could turn an ordinary pocket change discovery into a life-changing fortune. Have you ever heard of a single penny that could be worth over $2 million? That's right, a coin so mysterious, so rare, that even the most experienced collectors still argue about how it came to exist. Among those mysterious coins was the 1964 SMS Lincoln penny. SMS stands for Special Mint Set, but here's the twist. Official records say the mint didn't even produce special mint sets in 1964. They weren't supposed to start until 1965. So how did a special mint set penny appear a year early? That's where the mystery deepens. Most experts believe these coins were specially made at the Philadelphia Mint for internal testing or presentation purposes, possibly under the supervision of Mint Director Eva Adams. Some say they were test strikes for the upcoming 1965 SMS coins. If you ever see a 1964 penny that looks just too perfect, it's worth taking a very close look. Because you might be staring at one of the rarest U.S. coins ever made now. Let's talk about value, and this is where things get truly unbelievable. When one of these coins first appeared at auction, it caught collectors completely off guard. In 2005, a 1964 SMS Lincoln penny sold for around $10,000, but that was just the beginning. As more collectors learned about this mysterious coin, the value skyrocketed. In later auctions, top-graded examples sold for over $30,000, $50,000, and even $60,000. Then, in a record-shattering sale, one pristine specimen graded SP6 8RD, meaning it's an almost perfect red example, sold for more than $56,000, and that's not even the highest estimate. Experts believe that if one of these coins in even better condition, say SP6 9RD or full red luster, were to appear at auction today, it could easily fetch $70,000 or more. Some numismatists speculate that a private collector might pay close to $1 million for the right coin. Just imagine that a single penny, made in 1964, worth more than most people's homes. In 1993, a set of these mysterious 1964 SMS coins, including a penny, nickel, dime, quarter, and half-dollar, surfaced in the estate of a former U.S. Mint director, Eva Adams herself. That discovery confirmed that these coins were indeed produced at the highest levels of the mint, possibly as prototypes for the 1965 Special Mint Set program. But the exact number struck and the reason for their creation remain unknown to this day. That's what makes them so legendary and so valuable. Collectors refer to them as transitional anomalies, coins that bridge to different production eras. Have you ever wondered if that old quarter lying around in your drawer could actually make you rich? Well, what if I told you that one of the most ordinary-looking coins, the 1966 Washington quarter, might be worth thousands or even millions of dollars today due to rare minting errors and unique features hidden in plain sight? Yes, you heard that right. A single 1966 quarter, the same 25-cent coin most people spend without a second thought, could be the hidden treasure that turns you into a lucky millionaire overnight. So grab your magnifying glass and stay with me until the very end, because in this video, we're diving deep into the most rare 1966-era Washington quarters, their fascinating history, the error types that make them so valuable. Why the 1966 quarter is so special. At first glance, the 1966 quarter might not look special. It doesn't have a mint mark. And millions were made, over 821 million, to be exact. But beneath that ordinary exterior lies an exciting world of errors, varieties, and rare conditions that make certain coins extremely valuable. Collectors are obsessed with 1966 quarters for a few reasons. No mint mark era. Every 1966 quarter lacks a mint mark, which adds historical intrigue. Even though it doesn't identify a specific mint, the no mint mark design symbolizes a turbulent period in U.S. minting history. Transition year confusion. Some 1966 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver plankets or experimental materials, making them exceptionally rare. High error rate. The mint's high-speed production and limited quality checks led to numerous striking, die, and planchet errors, many of which are still being discovered by collectors today. Most valuable 1966 Washington quarter error varieties. Let's break down the top rare errors that make certain 1966 quarters worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. 1966 quarter struck on a silver planchet, worth $20,000 to $50,000 plus. This is the holy grail of 1966 quarter errors. Because silver plankets were phased out in 1964. 1966 quarter double die obverse DDO, worth $500 to $3,000 plus. Depending on the strength of the doubling and coin condition, values range from $500 for light doubling to $3,000 or more for bold examples graded by PCGS or NGC. 1966 quarter off-center strike, worth $150 to $5,000 plus. Minor 5 to 10% off-centers might fetch around $150 $500, while major 50% off-center strikes with clear dates can easily exceed $5,000. 1966 quarter struck on a nickel or dime planchette, worth $1,000 to $15,000 plus. These are highly collectible and have sold for $10,000 or more in top condition. 1966 quarter missing clad layer, worth $1,000 for $1,000 plus. A missing clad layer gives the coin a unique copper appearance on one or both sides. This error happens when the nickel layer fails to bond properly, exposing the pure copper core. Collectors pay anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000, depending on how complete the missing layer is. 1966 quarter broad strike error, worth $500 $1,500 plus. These errors, especially when well centered, can be quite valuable, typically ranging from $500 to $1,500 plus. Die cap and multiple strike errors, worth $1,000 to $10,000 plus. Such unique minting mishaps are highly prized and can sell for $2,000 $10,000 or even more depending on how visually striking the error is. One of the most mysterious, valuable, and shocking discoveries in modern American coin history, the 2000p error Sacagawea dollar. What makes this coin so special? How did a simple dollar coin turn into one of the most sought-after treasures in U.S. numismatic history? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll see why collectors are willing to pay life-changing amounts of money for just one of these coins. Have you ever held a coin in your hand that could secretly be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars? Well, today's story might just change how you look at your pocket change forever. Because hidden among the ordinary golden coins, let's take a step back to the year 2000. The United States Mint introduced a brand new dollar coin, the Sacagawea dollar, meant to replace the unpopular Susan B. Anthony dollar that had been circulating since 1979. This new coin featured the young Native American guide Sacagawea carrying her infant son, Jean Baptiste, on the obverse, designed by artist Glenna Goodacre. The reverse displayed a majestic soaring eagle with 17 stars, representing the states in the Union at the time of the Lewis and Clark expedition. The coin was intended to celebrate Native American heritage and exploration, and the U.S. Mint hoped its golden color and unique design would encourage public use. But despite the Mint's best intentions, the Sacagawea dollar didn't catch on in everyday circulation. People preferred paper money, however. That didn't stop collectors and coin experts from paying attention, especially to what happened at the Philadelphia Mint that year. Because among the millions of ordinary to 1000p Sacagawea dollars, a few incredibly rare and bizarre coins escaped the Mint that would stun the entire numismatic world. Now, before we get to the legendary mule error, the coin worth hundreds of thousands, let's talk about the coin's basic features. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar was struck in Philadelphia, indicated by the P mint mark just below the date. The composition is not actually gold, but a blend of copper, manganese, brass, and zinc, giving it that rich golden hue. Each coin weighs about 8.1 grams and measures 26.5 millimeters in diameter. The design was struck with an impressive level of detail. Sacagawea's calm expression, the intricate folds of her blanket, and the small baby's visible face all represent some of the finest modern U.S. coin artistry. But, as with most new coin launches, there were production issues. And these issues led to a few incredibly valuable error coins that today command jaw-dropping prices. So, what makes the 2000p Sacagawea dollar worth big money? Let's start with the most famous of them all, the Cheerios dollar. When the Mint wanted to promote the new Sacagawea dollar in early 2000, they teamed up with General Mills, the makers of Cheerios cereal. They placed over 5,500 freshly struck 1000p Sacagawea dollars inside specially marked boxes of Cheerios as part of a nationwide promotion. At first glance, these coins looked just like any other 1000p Sacagawea dollar, but years later, collectors made a shocking discovery. The reverse of these particular Cheerios coins had extra feather detail on the eagle's tail. The eagle's tail feathers were far more defined, with crisp and deep lines not seen on the regular circulation strikes. This was a prototype design, struck from early test dies, before the Mint finalized the coin's production version. Only a handful of these Cheerios dollars are known to exist, and when they surface, they can sell for staggering amounts. One such example sold for over $25,000, and in some cases, certified mint state specimens have been estimated at $50,000 or more depending on condition. Just imagine a coin that once came as a free toy in a cereal box could now be worth as much as a brand new car. But that's only the beginning of this story, because another error from that same year would completely blow those numbers out of the water. Enter the 2000-piece Akagawa dollar, state quarter mule error, one of the most famous and valuable modern U.S. coins ever discovered. A mule coin happens when two dies that were never meant to be paired together are mistakenly used in the minting process. We're diving into one of the most shocking discoveries in U.S. coin history. The 1983p Washington quarter, a coin so ordinary looking that millions of people have spent it without realizing it could have made them rich beyond imagination. You heard that right. Some 1983 quarters, especially those with rare minting errors or high-grade conditions, have sold for over $15,000, $25,000, and even close to six figures. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 1983p quarters to look for, how to spot valuable errors, and how these coins made lucky collectors rich. The historical background: the 1983p Washington quarter has a story unlike any other. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, during a time of change in U.S. coinage. From 1965 onward, the U.S. Mint had switched from 90% silver to copper-nickel-clad composition. But by 1983, the Mint was still struggling with metal shortages, die wear, and rushed production, leading to unusual minting errors and striking problems that gave birth to some of the most valuable error coins ever found. To make things even more interesting, 1983 was one of those years when the U.S. Mint did not issue official mint sets for collectors. That means most surviving high-quality 1983 quarters came only from circulation, making uncirculated or error specimens extremely rare today. At first glance, that mintage number seems high, but only a tiny fraction of those coins have the error characteristics or perfect strike quality that can make them worth a fortune. Why 1983p quarters are so valuable? The year 1983 stands out for several unique reasons that make it a collector's favorite. No mint sets were issued. That means most 1983 quarters available today came straight from circulation. Finding a gem quality coin is incredibly difficult, high die wear, and poor quality control. The Mint pushed dies beyond their limits, resulting in many die cracks, double dies, and striking anomalies, perfect conditions for valuable errors. The famous double die reverse error discovery. In 1983, a batch of quarters with strong doubling on the reverse side, especially the wordy pluribus unum, entered circulation, and they became legendary among collectors. Clad layer issues and wrong planchet errors. Some coins were struck on the wrong metal plankets, others had partial or missing clad layers, making them even more desirable and valuable. Most valuable 1983p Washington quarter error varieties. 1983p double die reverse DDR error, worth $500 to $15,000 plus. This is the most famous 1983 quarter error, and one of the most desirable modern U.S. coin varieties. Strong doubling, especially MS64 and above, can sell for $5,000 to $15,000 plus at auction. A stunning PCGS MS65 DDR 1983p quarter sold for over $13,000, all because of its crisp doubling and flawless surface. So, always check your 1983 quarters reverse side carefully. That doubling could change your life. 1983p struck on wrong planchet, worth $1,000 to $20,000 plus. Due to production errors, a few 1983 quarters were struck on plankets meant for nickels, dimes, or even foreign coins. A 1983p quarter struck on a dime planchet to 0.3 grams, sold for over $10,000. Another struck on a nickel planchet, fetched $5,000. Some unique examples on experimental plankets have even been valued above $20,000. These coins are often visually striking, undersized, off-colored, or missing parts of the design. 1983p missing clad layer, worth $1,000 to $4,500 plus. Some quarters left the mint missing one of their nickel layers, exposing the copper core. Typical examples fetch around $1,000 to $1,500. Perfectly preserved mint state coins can command over $4,000 plus. Collectors love these because they're both beautiful and scientifically fascinating errors. 1983p off-center strike, worth $150 to $3,000 plus. An off-center strike happens when the coin blank planchette isn't aligned properly in the press. 5 to 10% off-center coins bring about $200 for $100. 50% off-center with full date visible can sell for $2,000 $3,000 plus. 1983p broad strike error, worth $300 to $1,000 plus. 1983p die crack or cut errors, worth $100 to $2,000 plus. Minor cracks, $200 to $400. Full cut or large break, up to $2,000 plus. 1983p high-grade regular strike, worth $1,000 to $25,000 plus. That's because most 1983 coins circulated heavily and got scratched or worn. Uncirculated gems are exceptionally rare. MS66, $800 to $1,200. MS67, $2,000 to $5,000. MS68, $10,000 to $25,000 plus. In 2021, a PCGS MS681983p Washington quarter sold for a staggering $24,000 at auction, one of the highest prices ever for a modern clad quarter.